Okay, good. Hide that. Okay, so again, to be able to zoom in and out, you use the wheel to zoom in and out, and you press the wheel and you move your mouse while pressing the wheel to move the page, okay? On the left side of the screen, you have however many circuits you have open. You should only have one, right? Because you only opened one. As you can see, I have several because I've been working with others. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen over here, you have a bunch of instruments, oscilloscopes, multimeters, function generators, a bunch of things. We will get to use those little by little throughout the year. Here in the top right, you have these little lollipop. Those are the probes that I mentioned. Those are the ones what you use as instead of having to connect an LED with a resistor, you just put one of those and it turns on if the signal is a 1. Above those is the zoom controls, but since you're using a mouse, you're not going to really need those. But if you're using a trackpad, then you're going to need those. Over here on the top left, you have a bunch of shortcuts like print, save, print preview, etc., and little shortcuts that you can modify. One of the most important things you're going to be using is this green center button, like a little triangle. That's when you want to start simulating or running the simulation. Okay. If you look at my screen, when we're done, we're going to have a circuit that looks like this, right? It's really actually really easy and fast to build. So what you do is after you have your circuit built, you would press run, and then you toggle the switches. I have my switches hotkeyed to ASD because those are keys right next to in the same place in my hand, right? I don't put like random ones. I put like 1, 2, 3 or ASD. So I tested by saying, okay, I count in binary, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. And I know that's supposed to turn on there, right? And then at 4, 5, 6, and 7 should be off because all 3 should not ride the bike. Do you see how to go about testing it? And then you press stop by pressing the red square, and you know that your circuit's working. Okay, testing it is pretty easy once you build the circuit. Again, you just press run and then toggle the switches and press stop. Okay, let's start by building the switches. Actually, no, pause. Let's start by making your eyes comfortable. You're going to be staring at these circuits for a long time. Some of you have preferences where you prefer like a teal color or like a yellow, or some people prefer like a dark mode. No matter which one you do, the bad sign or the bad drawback is that these computers have deep freeze. So when the computers ever turn off, you have to do it again. But that's not so bad to do it. Okay, so if you want to change the appearance of the paper, whether it's the size of or the color, this is where you go. You go to options at the top center and you click on sheet properties. Okay, there's a window that's going to pop up, and the first sheet visibility I'll show you a little bit later. That has to do with the circuit and what pieces of the circuit you want to see. So let's skip that one for now. Let's click on colors. On the tab colors, that's where you set the appearance, and there's a preview on the right-hand side. I like mine with a white background, especially because I'm like you guys are looking at it and it's for projecting, that's better. But if you want to change it, you can click on the color scheme and change it to like, let's say a black background or a white with black or black with white. Whatever preference you have. Or what typically I do is I go to like a white background, leave all the colors like that, and then click custom, and then just change the background by clicking the little top color square. You got it? Okay. You could play with this for years. So I'm telling you about it, but just pick a color for now, and then later you can modify it, okay? Because yeah, you could be forever here. Okay. Now, you guys all changed it? Okay. Workspace, the tab next to it, That's where you change the paper size. So you know, right now you were drawing and you're like, oh crap, I ran out of space, right? So like, look what happens. You can select the sheet size that's default by letter size, which is a standard sheet of paper. But let's say you need it just a little bit to the right. So you can over here custom size and add to the width. Like I'm gonna add 2 inches to the width and press apply and see how my paper just got a little bit bigger. And so I can change the size like that. However, I'm gonna go back to letter and press apply because that's the one that's what I want. The wiring tab on top is to change the thickness of the wire. As you make wires, sometimes they're too skinny to see. I like wire width 2 when I'm working. I use 3 on my projector because you guys have to look at it and it's easier to see. But I like wire width 2. The bus width, bus is a bundle of wires. We'll use that later. Don't worry about that one at the moment. Lastly, the things that you may want to change is the font. By default, it's Arial. You just pick your favorite font if you have one, or leave it at Arial. Okay? Any questions on the colors, the sizes? If you ever want to change the appearance, colors or sizes, you go there. Now at this time, I want everybody to raise their right hand and repeat after me. You ready? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will press print preview and check what I'm printing before printing 9,000 gallons of ink because of my colorful settings. Thank you. No, that was me saying thank you to you. You can put your hands down. So that's what's going to happen. You guys are going to modify your background, especially most kids. A lot of kids go with the black background. And then what happens is you go to print it. And then you get this black ink paper that wasted 9,000 gallons of ink, even though it's powder, like whatever. But you know what I mean? So just be mindful if you have to print. Like don't print like crazy. Okay, that was that. So I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to change my settings, but you should press apply if you wanted to keep your settings the way they are. Okay, let's start building a circuit. You have to, it's really easy. You just place the components that you want to use and then just connect them using wires that appear by just clicking starting and stopping. Okay, so here we go. Let's build the switches and connect them to power. Okay, there's 2 ways to do it. Those of you that are gamers may know this. Again, you can use a lot of shortcut keys, which is what I prefer. But when I'm demonstrating, I do it the long way because I need to show you, right? Like I can't just like I can simulate much faster if I'm not talking and I'm just doing it. And so I have one hand on the keyboard for the shortcuts and the other one in my mouse to move the wires. So you can either go to Control W or click at the top left and go to place component. Again, if you fall behind, tell me to repeat myself rather than making your neighbor fall behind as well. Okay, I really would appreciate that. Okay, so place component or press Control W. A little shopping window pops up that is all the components in the database. Can be a little overwhelming. Okay, so what you need to do is narrow it down to find the pieces. Eventually, when you're better at it and you know the names of the components, you can search for them directly here in the center, but we're not there yet. Okay, again, please follow along. Don't go ahead or don't fall behind. Okay, so the power sources. Yes, sweetie, what's the matter? Oh, Control W, thank you for asking me. Control W or click on place component in the top left, place component. There you go. Good. Anybody else? All right. So we're going to leave the master database always like that because that's where the components are. Right below the master database name here on the left, we're going to select the group and we're going to narrow it down. We're going to put our sources, power sources. So we're going to click on group called sources. And then right below it, narrow it down even more by selecting power sources family. You find it? Sources group, family called power sources. See, if you're following along, it's really easy. But if you get distracted, you're like, what did you do? And it's like, it's gonna make you fall behind. Okay, so VCC at the fourth from the bottom, VCC, it stands for common collector voltage, which is exactly 5 volts. Positive 5 volts is what we're gonna be used. That's a standard in electronics. 5 volts, it's called VCC, okay? And so click OK. It looks like a little T when you connect to the bottom. See how now it's at my mouse, following my mouse around? Let's put it to the top left-ish here. Click once, and it puts it there, and the window comes up again. You only need one. Ooh, sorry, my mom. Ooh. Okay, I have to call her after. Okay, so VCC is my power supply. Now I need ground. Now I don't need the ground that's in the earth underneath me. I need a digital ground because the earth ground is got excess noise from everywhere. So I don't want that. So I need DGND.
My dad did, like, he was hearing a lot of static on his radio and like decided to get a really big pole and
yeah, and that cleaned it up, right? Because it got rid of all the excess noise. Because everything, remember, the third prong of everything is connected to the ground. And so go there rather than coming to my electronics. Okay, digital ground, the third one, and click OK, and put it somewhere over here near the other one. And now we need switches. Switches are not sources, so we're gonna have to change our group. Okay. Click on the group again, and let's change it to basic. The switches are basic components. Family switch, which is like the 5th one, 6th one down. You get it? Again, thank you. It's under ground is in sources, power sources, it's called digital ground. No, the top, it's not. No, on the, is it DGND? There, that one. Yeah, just put it somewhere up here. Okay, switches, anybody else? Good, thank you for stopping me. Go to source, no, change sources to basic group. Change the group to basic, and then click family switch. And scroll in the center all the way to the bottom, and it's actually called single pole double throw, SPDT. You see it? And look at the picture, see how it has 1 pole and 2 throws? That's the one you need. Actually, we need 3 of them. Okay, so once you select it, click OK. And let's place 1, okay, 2, okay, 3 times. Basic switch SPDT. Yeah? Okay. Let's close this for now. This window selection, this selection window, let's close it and let's connect our switches properly. Now, notice that my switches are not facing the correct way, the way that I wanted to have the layout. Remember, this is how my layout was. The 2 throws were at the top, right? So what I have to do is rotate these components, okay? To rotate is super easy. What you do is you select, you can do it all at once or one at a time. When you select something, it puts a little box around them. Do you see that? Okay. And then just press Control R, Control Rotate. Control R with your mouse. See how it just rotates them a lot? Like 90 degrees every time? Put them so that they have the 2 throws at the top. So the wiper stays stuck at the bottom, and see, watch what happens if I press the little bar. See how it changes? You want it to be like that, where the pole where the joint stays stuck at the bottom and it selects from the two throws at the top. The switch, okay. Place component, basic group, switch family, and it was called S as in Sally, or S as in single, P as in pull, D as in double, and T as in throw. SPDT. You get it? SPDT. Because the other one is single throw. You don't want the single, you want the double throw. Okay. Any other? Yes? Okay, good. Thank you. You select them. You can either click nearby it or just draw a box. I did all at once and then press Control R. Yeah. You can also do this, select them and then right click and then rotate. But that's a little bit annoying. You know what I mean? Like, but you can do that. Yes. Okay, you need to change them to look like mine. You need to make those two throws so that also look, when you press the space bar, because it's hotkey to the space bar, see, it's supposed to stay stuck at the bottom and swap from the top options, like a windshield wiper on a car. You got it? Did you fix it? Okay, everybody have the switches correctly facing? Okay, because otherwise, like you're gonna be grabbing the sources from the bottom going up, it's backwards, right? Okay, now notice that again, when I press my space bar, they all toggle together, but I don't want them, I wanna be able to toggle them individually, right? So what I wanna do is, yeah, you can click on it like this, but then what happens is that, check it out. Let me go to my finished circuit. When I'm looking at a big circuit, it's easy. See, like I move it. It's like, no, put it, it's just really annoying. I'm pressing Control Z. So what I like to do is put hotkeys on my keyboard. So again, I can just toggle by my keys. Do you see what I'm doing? So I'm not pressing with the mouse, but I have them hotkey to ASD. Why ASD? Because they're close together, right? I could have also used QWE or 1, 2, 3, right? Please do not call them ABC, because then you're gonna have to move your, like try to hunt for the key, right? That's not the point. The point is to put them right next to each other. So let's go to that, back to the circuit. You select the switch by putting a box around it and then double click on it. When you double click on it, you change the label and the value. Okay, so the value is the key for toggle. You click on it and then you click the key that you want. I can do 1, 2, 3, whichever one you like. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 for your demonstration. You can do whatever you like. Oh, I forgot to change the S1. Under the label tab, you can change the switch name from switch 1 to Amy. Right? So now when I press the key in my keyboard, the 1 key, it only toggles 1. Do you get it? Any questions? Yes, let's do it again. I'm gonna do it with the second switch, yeah? Select the switch, double click, and then the label, change it to the name. I'm gonna call it Ben. And the value, you click on the key for toggle and you press the key that you want. And then you click OK. So you change and you do it another time for the last one. So value and label. And you click OK. So now you should have 3 switches that toggle independently. Yes, you can click on it still with your mouse if that's what you prefer. Trust me, the circuits are going to get pretty large that you're going to have to like zoom in and then you can see the switch to click on it, but you don't see the output. So the hotkeys are going to be really handy. If the labels are not where you want them, like see how this key is up there, you just click on it and move it like kind of similar to the other. Just be careful. Don't like move it out here because then when I select it now, like the personal space of that one is like way far away. So, okay, you double click on the switch and then you click on value. And then you just change this key. I use 1, 2, 3. Okay, thanks for asking. Yes. We double clicked on each of the switches and changed the value, which is the hotkey, and the label, which is the name. So we call them Amy, Ben, and Charlie. And now my keys on my keyboard are independent of each other. Questions? All right. Let's connect. The switches are kind of like too high. I'm gonna grab them. There's 2 ways to move components. You can just grab the component and move. Oh, no, I don't want to move that piece. I want to move the whole thing. So make sure that when you're selecting like a box around it. You could have select all of them and move them all together. Okay, I just want to move them down a little bit because I want to make my power rails up here. Okay, so this is how you make a wire. Please look at my screen and then you could do it on your own. So check it out. Look at my mouse and how it's an arrow. And when it goes to where you can connect it, it changes to crosshairs. Do you see that? Again, my arrow, when I'm ready to connect and start a wire, it changes to crosshairs. So you click once, you don't have to hold the mouse down. You don't have to hold the mouse down. You just move it. You just move it. And look, check it out. If wherever you click, it kind of anchors down. And wherever you want to end, you double click. Yes. Your mouse changes to crosshairs wherever you can connect, like anywhere you can connect. You can even start a wire in the middle of nowhere. Like if you double click, every time you click once, it pins it down, and to double click, you end it. And then you click the wire and delete it because that's gross. Okay, so let's make the power source. Ready? Click down here underneath VCC 1 time. Click to the right and double click. Let's change the wire color by double clicking the wire and changing it to red. Again, click to start a wire. I click now on ground, move to the right, double click to end the wire, double click the wire to change it to black. And if your background is black, your wire is going to show up as white, which is fine. Double click on the wire and then change the color. It's called network color or net color. Okay, so again, click on the wherever you want to start connecting a wire once. Don't have to hold the mouse down. Double click to end it. Click once, double click to end it. You got it? Okay, so now that that's there, let's bring this switch here closer. And I'm gonna connect the left side. See how I cannot start there's other ways, but I don't wanna show you those yet because it creates a lot of errors. So you cannot start a wire from a wire. You know what I mean? You can end it there. So you can start like a connection point, like from here to ground, and from the right hand throw to power. You see what I did there? And then take the other switch, kind of organize it how you want them. I like to have them like at the same height so that it's easier to follow. And then this one around there. Left to ground, right to power. Make sense? Yep, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control. I can only have so many. Okay. Oh no, I think I broke. Okay. I could just delete wires. Select, delete, select, delete. Okay. So I connect the left side of my switch to ground and the right hand side of my switch to power. right? So when my switch is to the left like this, 0 is coming out at the bottom. And when the switch is to the right, a 1 is coming out to the bottom. You got it? And we do the same thing for all of the switches. We connect them to power and ground. And third one goes around here-ish, like that. Now, let me show you something that's really frustrating for some students that I hope doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. Sometimes you move things and you're like, oh no, but my wires, they're crooked, what, blah, right? There's ways to get around that. Let's say I just wanted to move this little junction this way to the right. So what you do is you select the little junction. You see how I selected this little junction right here? And then I use the arrows on my keyboard to move it. You get it? So select it and move it. You could do that or move it to the left. Or you know what? No, I want it back this way. Oof. How, like it won't let me cross actually. If I try to go in this way, it won't let me cross. So how do I do it? Watch my mouse. Ready? See how my mouse changes to like this little X with lines? That's making me lift the wire. So I click on it and now the wire's following me again and I connect it down there. So I lift the wire and connect it right here. Okay? So that's a little trick. And then also you can also just select the whole thing, move it to where you want it. Let's say this one's gonna come in handy. Let's say I wanted to make some space between these, be like, I'm gonna change these switches and move everything to the right. Did you see how I selected everything? So I selected everything. Instead of just selecting the switches, I selected the junctions as well. Okay, now let's make those vertical rails that go downward by just making a wire. Click once to start a wire, go to the bottom, double click to end it. Click once, move your mouse, double click once, double click. I like to color code my signals because if I connect them wrong, it's very easy to tell. So I just double click on each wire and change the network color. I'm gonna pick, I don't know, what colors you prefer. I just kind of go around the wheel. I'm gonna do orange. Double click and I'm gonna do bluish, light bluish. Okay. So now I am ready to start building my logic circuits, right? And you already have, remember the keys? You have them hotkeyed. So whenever you finish, you can just press play and test your circuit. You guys doing okay? Yeah. It's really easy, right? It's going a little slow because it's the first time we're doing it, but after a while you get past it. Huh? No, we're gonna finish it. What time does the bell ring? Oh yeah, we got 20 minutes. We're almost done. Well, I'm almost done and then you guys are gonna fly through it. Okay, here we go. This part, I want you to pay close attention to me. So please pause and because it's gonna affect how you breadboard as well. So if you do this part wrong, you're gonna have trouble breadboarding it. Okay, so pause what you're doing and then I'll explain it thoroughly and then I'm done talking, okay? So here we go. We're gonna place logic gates and the logic gates are the same thing, place component or control W. They're definitely not basic and they're definitely not sources. You will always find all the logic gates that we're using under the TTL group and the 74LS family. We missed the yay, okay. So again, TTL group 74LS family, okay? Now, what part numbers? Remember I told you it was 7408 for the AND, 7432, and 7404 for the inverter. Now, if you look here in the center, there is 04, because these are LS family, that's the devices we're using. There's an 04N and an 04D. You want the letter N because those are the ones that fit on a breadboard. The D, the package is different, okay? So always select the one that ends with the letter N and only use chips from the 74LS family. Okay, so that's never gonna change all year long. Okay, now this is the part that I told you that you need to pay really close attention to. When we click when I click OK, let's say I'm selecting the inverter because I need 3 of them, right? What's gonna happen is when I click OK, this little window is gonna pop up. What the heck? What does that mean? Well, do you recall that the inverter has 6 inside of a chip, right? So what this is asking me, look, A, B, C, D, E, F, there's 6 of them. It's saying, which one do you want me to connect there for you? A, which is the bottom left, B, bottom center, C, bottom right, D, top right. It goes in shape of a U, right? A, B, C, D, E, F. So let's use them in order, but I'm definitely not going to use more than one chip because I have plenty in one chip, right? So I click on A and I place it down. So I'm going to put it over here on the right for now, but check out what happens. Do you see? Here it's saying, okay, you already started one row. Do you want to use another one from the same chip or do you want a new chip? What should I do? The same one. So should I use, where should I click? U1, chip 1, B. I don't go to new. That's wrong because I'm going to get another chip. It's kind of like, it's a silly analogy, but it's kind of like, okay, you have to eat a pack of M&Ms. You want chocolate, you want M&Ms. And you go grab one from a bag. You open a bag, get one. I want another one. Throw that bag away and get a new bag? No, that's just silly. So you get it from the same bag until you finish it, right? So same thing here, get it from the same U1 bag package. So get B, and then now there's A and B are used, so you have they're grayed out, and then you see C. That's all I need. I just need 3, but they're all from the same chip. Do you see how it says U1 is chip 1A, B, and C? Cancel that. I'm gonna get AND gates now, 74 less 08 N. Click OK. Now it's giving me a choice of 4. Why? Because remember the AND gate has 4 of them inside. Remember that? So I'm gonna need how many? Whew, 6 of them, right? So here we go. A, I'm gonna put them right here for now. I'm just kind of putting a shopping list over here. Do I select the new one? No. Yes. I can't hear you. Can you repeat it? Yes, I'll repeat it again. Let me finish this one. I'll go back. Yeah. So A, B, C, and I finish one chip there. And then I start a new chip because I need 6, right? So then, okay, so the inverter, I leave always TTL 74 or less family. The inverter was 04N, right? When you know these part numbers, you wrote them down. They're also on the board. The AND is 08N, and the OR is 32. Now watch this, the OR gate is 32, but it's not numerical. It's alphabetical, so the 100s come first, which is really weird. So you have to scroll down until you get to the 3s, which is after the 200s, and then that's the 32. Okay, and I need 2 of those. Okay, and close that. So they're all my components. Obviously, they're not connected properly. And you don't have to place them all down at once. You can place one at a time as you need them. I just placed them all down to show you why you place like B, C, and D instead of new, right? Copying and pasting will give you a new chip. So Multisim doesn't really like copying and pasting. It gives you all sorts of errors. Okay. After you're done with building your circuit, so let's pretend this is like a cooking show. Boom, all done, right? So after you're done building your circuit, which is gonna look something like this, what you do is you grab a logic probe from up here. You see it? Watch me, and then I'm done in 30 seconds. You grab a logic probe, whatever color. Please do not grab the clear one. I don't know why they even have it there. And then you connect it. If you want to see the status of the switch, like left is 0, right is 1. But if you want to see it, you can also put a probe. You actually have to rotate them. Control R, and then stab it right there. Control R, stab it there. Grab a probe, Control R, and stab it there. Okay. So now, when I press play, these probes tell me the status of the switch. I mean, I know the status, but that's just nice to have, right? And it tells me the output status. Now, this is the part where do you see how when I zoom in, I'll show you how to enable the pins. You see pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see those? Those correspond to when you're wiring the circuit on a breadboard. So if you put them in order, it's going to have a little map for you. And so when you breadboard, you just have to connect pin 2 of the inverter to pin 1 of the AND, pin 3 of the AND to pin 4 of the AND, pin 6 of the AND to pin 1 of the OR. You see what I mean? So it's going to lay it out for you. All right. So the only part I didn't show you, well, I showed you really quick, was where to get the probes. So again, the probes are up here. If when you install Multisim, it doesn't have, or that one doesn't have it, you just right click, and that's the measurement components toolbar. So if I take it away, see how it disappears? So if that one's not there, just put measurement components and that little toolbar should show up. Okay, I am done talking. I need you to, your exit ticket today, which you have what, 20 minutes? 10? You'll be done. You'll get. We'll see how far you go. We'll see. Place component. Place components, TTL 74LS, and then whatever part numbers you need. Again, I'll leave this here like this so that you can refer to the part numbers. Let's get a really good start today. If we don't finish, we'll finish next class. Yeah. It's right there. There we go. Yeah. Right here. Ready? TTL group, family 74LS. You got it? Group TTL, family 74LS. For now until the end of the year, that's where all your logic is going to be. All right, I'll walk around and help you and check out your designs if you have any questions. Let's see how far. I'll remind you like 3 minutes before. Always save your designs. I suggest that you make a folder in your OneDrive called DE, and you're going to save all your designs there. Hannah, are you still there?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, that's all I'm showing, and then we'll continue tomorrow. So if you don't have Multisim, really that's all to see, but then we'll continue next time, yeah? So you can hang out, or you can, we're done.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Okay. I'm gonna stop recording. That's what I'm gonna do. How do I do this?